Dr. Yehya Badr was born in Luxor, Egypt by parents who were both doctors, as he himself grew to become one. With a serious personality and very rational views, he was a model student in all subjects, being at the top of his class, while excelling in academics. However, he failed in the belief of a higher power, even after studying extensively in both the Quran and Hadith, holy books of Islam, which made him feel hollow and broken. Nevertheless, he was a respectable man, but wasn't friendly by nature, only having a few friends, as he went on to open up a free medical clinic in New York City. So during one night, when he was walking alone on the street, he was viciously attacked and killed by a group of vampires, who filled their stomachs with his blood, as he next found himself somewhere in the afterlife, and approached by the ancient Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu, who witnessed the unfortunate event, and decided to offer Dr. Badr another life with a divine purpose, defending all those who travel at night, which he accepted, finally achieving the missing piece in his prior life, which was knowing God, as he became the zealous disciple of Khonshu, now known as his fifth, Hunter's Moon, with his first mission being to go after the once mercenary Mark Spector, who died and also was reborn in the shadow of Khonshu, becoming his fist known as Moon Knight, which he recently started the Midnight Mission to provide aid to his neighbors, as he stopped worshipping Khonshu after he prior helped him reshape the world into a twisted new one, with Khonshu as its ruler, while first defeating Earth's mightiest heroes, and next slayed the sadistic, cruel, and dangerous extra-dimensional demon Mephisto, who Khonshu had an earlier vision would have ruled instead. So Moon Knight went on to betray Khonshu after he became immoral, while Moon Knight became the self-proclaimed high priest to the moon god, while taking over Khonshu's sacred duty after Khonshu was imprisoned in Asgard for his crimes. Moreover, Moon Knight went on to allow what he believed to be non-evil vampires to exist under his protection, and territory consecrated to the duty of Khonshu, which Hunter's Moon felt was absurd and blasphemous, and he needed his faith restored. So Hunter's Moon defeated Moon Knight in a brutal battle, and next headed out to kill the vampires that were recently turned, which one of them was Moon Knight's female assistant, Reese. Nevertheless, Moon Knight would recover and stop Hunter's Moon by sneak attacking him from behind with a bat, repeatedly striking him until he was incapacitated. Succeeding this, Moon Knight Mission Temple will be bombed with him inside during an orchestrated attack by Terry, known as the villainous Zodiac, in his attempts to break him, as he viciously attacked Moon Knight, who survived. Meanwhile, Reese bravely went after Hunter's Moon for help, risking the safety of her own life, which Hunter's Moon saw as heartwarming, and went on to rescue Moon Knight, knowing above all he is his brother's keeper, as he briefly took Zodiac down before he escaped, and next took Moon Knight back to his clinic for healing, even though Dr. Badr didn't like or respect him in a sense. Succeeding this, Hunter's Moon will battle the legendary Scarlet Fascinera, whose legacy made her become a god after being worshipped by the underworld, and now called Stained Glass Scarlet, who once was a pregnant nun married to a gangster until the cops killed him. So she sought out vengeance by killing their sons with a crossbow, and next became a vigilante terrorist before she too was killed by the cops 2 years ago in a standoff within a church in the South Bronx. Her husband and son died in a gunfire decades apart. Moreover, he battled and defeated the Bloody Lady of Vengeance after summoning Khonshu's avatar for assistance. Furthermore, Moon Knight would desperately contact Khonshu and offer his faith to him for the exchange of the immediate pathway from New Jersey to New York to save his loved ones from a returning Zodiac in his gang. Thereafter, Hunter's Moon will speak to the awakened Pharaoh fist of the past that came through the pathway with Moon Knight in a high temple speech of Khonshu, so they could return to the forever home of the past fist. As time progressed, Hunter's Moon will find himself facing off with two vampire assassins that recently defeated Moon Knight, Grand Maw, and the Men, who was sent by their leader, Kenneth, also known as the Tutor, and his whole organization, the Structure, who cultivated an interest in humanity and their ideas, while wanting vampirism to be a forward step in human evolution, rather than a parasitic infection. So he made his bid for international recognition to be the vampire king of the world, and eventually overthrow Dracula, as his vampires went on to overwhelm and next kill Hunter's Moon. Following this, Moon Knight, accompanied by Greer Nelson, also known as Tigra, will discover Hunter's Moon's lifeless body. So Moon Knight went on to have Khonshu resurrect him, who next warned Hunter's Moon if any one of them die again while he is in prison, he won't be able to resurrect them. As they went on to slaughter and deliver Namin and Grand Maw bodies, to the International Vampire Conclave in Manhattan that the tutor was hosting for delegation factions of vampires from around the world. Moreover, Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight will go after the king of all wolves, Jack Russell, also known as the Werewolf by Night, who had Moon Knight's daughter Diotrice captive in order to kill Khonshu and possibly fulfill the prophecy in the Darkhold book that says, when the moon leaves the skies, the blood of the first anointed with the blood of the fifth, a weapon to kill their grandsire, the moon god, forged by the king of all wolves, anointed in blood, tempered with a curse. So in order for what Jack believes will free his kind from their curse which enslaved them to serve Khonshu the moon god, he along with the Moon Knight must be destroyed, since the moon is the root of their Lycan transformation. However, after, it will be Khonshu himself to mentally communicate with Hunter's Moon and request he terminate the life of Moon Knight's daughter in order to save the life of his god and father Khonshu, since in actuality the prophecy means for Diotrice to be turned into a werewolf, not killed. Nevertheless, Hunter's Moon wouldn't go through with it, knowing the planetary alignment that was required would eventually end and the prophecy unfulfilled. Furthermore, Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight will later realize every time they're resurrected, it's only their minds that suffer, as they lose a little bit more of themselves until they are no longer worthy of resurrection after they become wild psychopaths, filled with nothing but untamed violence and raw instincts. Moreover, Hunter's Moon will discover his resurrection had flaws in it, when he could become one with past fists of Khonshu's while taking on their persona, like when during a fight with Alten Vibro, also known as the supervillain Vibro, who had the ability to generate high-level seismic vibrations from his hands, Hunter's Moon took on the persona of an ancient Khonshu champion who was utterly without mercy, which Hunter's Moon's own personality got lost in or intertwined with, as he nearly killed Vibro, possibly going from a warrior to a liability. That being said, Dr. Yehya Badr is Marvel Comics' Hunter's Moon.